$12 million gone. 2,468 Nigerians wake up one morning. Their life savings vanished into thin air. A Kenyan court freezes 45 bank accounts. Not a small startup. Africa's most valuable fintech company. $3 billion valuation. Backed by Visa, Mastercard, and Tiger Global. Now fighting fraud allegations across multiple countries. This is the Flutterwave scandal, and it's still unfolding right now. In 2022, Flutterwave stood at the peak of African tech, a unicorn valued at $3 billion, processing payments for Uber, Microsoft, and Netflix across the continent, the poster child for African innovation. Founded in 2016 and based in San Francisco, Flutterwave raised $250 million in its Series D round at over $3 billion valuation, making it one of Africa's most valuable startups. But behind the glossy headlines, a storm brewed. Fraud allegations, money laundering accusations, security breaches, and thousands of victims demanding justice. Today, we're exposing the full story. How did Africa's fintech darling fall from grace? The rise of a unicorn. Let's rewind. Flutterwave was founded in 2016 by Iyinoluwa Aboyeji, Olugbenga Agboola, and Adeleke Adekoya. Their mission seemed simple: make African payments seamless. The problem was real. African businesses struggled with cross-border transactions, different currencies, different systems, payment failures everywhere. Flutterwave promised to fix this. One platform, multiple payment methods, coverage across Africa, and investors loved it. In 2021, Flutterwave raised $170 million in Series C funding, becoming a unicorn with a valuation of over $1 billion. Investors included Y Combinator, Visa Ventures, Mastercard, Avenir Growth Capital, and Tiger Global Management. By early 2022, they tripled that valuation, $3 billion, Africa's most valuable startup. CEO Olugbenga Agboola became a tech celebrity, featured in Fortune, Time, and every major publication. Everything looked perfect, until it didn't. The first cracks. Kenya freezes millions. July 2022, a Kenyan court drops a bombshell. A Kenyan court froze more than $40 million in accounts belonging to Flutterwave under the country's anti-money laundering laws. Not one account, not two. 45 bank accounts and 10 mobile money wallets. Kenya's Assets Recovery Agency launched investigations into transactions made by at least 10 firms, freezing dozens of bank accounts linked to Flutterwave, believing them to be conduits of international money laundering. The allegations were serious. The ARA alleged that bank accounts were used as conduits for money laundering in the guise of providing merchant services, and that Flutterwave engaged in card fraud. Flutterwave denied everything. They called it a disinformation campaign. But the court documents told a different story. The aggregate amount of funds alleged by the ARA to have been laundered or labeled as suspicious via Flutterwave or associated companies exceeded $200 million. $200 million in suspicious transactions. And this was just the beginning. The 86 FB Ponzi scheme, 12 million vanishes. Now here's where it gets really dark. Meet 86 Football Technology, also known as 86FB, 86W, and 86Z. The betting company claimed to use complex scientific formulae to calculate potential football outcomes and also claimed to have close links with the City Football Group, which controls Manchester City. Thousands of Nigerians invested. The promise? Easy money through sports betting. The betting firm turned out to be a massive Ponzi scheme, with several Nigerian media outlets reporting in 2022 that the pyramid scheme had taken more than $400 million from Nigerians. When 86FB collapsed in April 2022, people demanded their money back. But there was a problem. 86 Football Technology allegedly moved billions of its loot through Flutterwave. In June 2023, Justice Alfred Mabea froze 45 bank accounts after a group of 2,468 Nigerian nationals claimed Flutterwave was used to defraud them of $12.04 million. $12 million, 2,468 victims. The investors claimed that Flutterwave and 86FB colluded to defraud them. But Flutterwave had a different story. During routine checks, they noted a few companies were using their platform to process payments for 86FB without proper authorization. Flutterwave claimed they suspended the merchant who had been using its platform to handle 86FB transactions in May 2022 after discovering the operations were a Ponzi scheme. So who's telling the truth? The victims claim Flutterwave enabled the fraud. Flutterwave claims they were the ones who stopped it. Either way, thousands of people lost everything. Security breaches, the hacking nightmare. While fighting fraud allegations, Flutterwave faced another nightmare. Hackers. February 2023. Unknown actors transferred more than 2.9 billion naira, approximately $4.2 million, from Flutterwave accounts across 28 accounts in 63 transactions. Flutterwave denied any hack, but court documents proved otherwise. Then it happened again. In April 2024, Flutterwave suffered another security breach that allowed unknown persons to divert 11 billion naira, about $7 million, to several bank accounts. One financial services insider claimed the amount involved was at least 20 billion naira, approximately $13.5 million. This marked the fourth incident of unauthorized transfers at Flutterwave reported in 14 months. 4 security breaches in just over a year, millions of dollars stolen each time. In October 2023, about 6,000 account holders across 35 banks received 19 billion naira illegally transferred through unauthorized POS merchant transactions. Flutterwave insisted customer funds were safe, but trust was bleeding out fast. The workplace scandal. As if fraud and hacking weren't enough, internal problems exploded publicly. April 2022. Clara Wanjiku Odero, former head of implementation for Rest of Africa, published a damning blog post. Wanjiku accused Flutterwave CEO Olugbenga Agboola of bullying, harassment, and tarnishing her image after her resignation from the company. Her story was chilling. After tendering her resignation, Agboola refused to pay her salary until she got a lawyer. Then, Wanjiku said Agboola sabotaged a bank job she was trying to secure by calling her a bad worker. But the worst part, the company kept her number as the contact person on a fraudulent M-Pesa project even after her resignation, leading police to question her mother. While on a work trip to Ghana in May 2019, Wanjiku's mother called saying police were at her office, claiming she was involved in M-Pesa fraud with Nigerians. She sued. In September 2024, the Kenyan Court of Appeal awarded her 250,000 Kenyan shillings, approximately $2,500, far less than the $900,000 she had requested. Flutterwave denied bullying allegations, but a West Africa Weekly report highlighted several allegations against the startup and Agboola, including fraud, perjury, insider trading, and sexual harassment. The aftermath. Where are they now? So what happened next? The Asset Recovery Agency withdrew its suit against Flutterwave in November 2023, and the company recovered funds totaling $52.5 million. The court released the funds after the ARA formally withdrew the forfeiture application in February 2024. Flutterwave was cleared, or were they? The court threw out an application by 2,468 Nigerians who sought to have part of the frozen funds separated, as the individuals sought to recover funds they had invested and lost through the sports betting platform. The 86 FB victims, they got nothing. $12 million still missing. 2,468 people still waiting for justice. Meanwhile, Flutterwave continues operating. In 2024, the company processed over 890 million transactions valued at $34 billion. The company extended operations to Rwanda, Ghana, Uganda, and Zambia, bringing its total infrastructure reach to over 35 countries. And their IPO plans? CEO Olugbenga Agboola revealed that the long-awaited initial public offering will only take place when the company is profitable. In an interview, Agboola said profitability is very important and declined to provide a timeline for the IPO. Let's be clear about something. Flutterwave wasn't some small-time operation running a scam. This was Africa's most valuable startup, $3 billion valuation, backed by some of the world's biggest investors. And yet, here's what happened on their watch. Over $200 million in suspicious transactions flagged by Kenyan authorities. $12 million vanished through the 86 FB Ponzi scheme, affecting 2,468 victims. 4 major security breaches in 14 months, with at least $20 million stolen. Workplace harassment allegations from former employees. Flutterwave maintains they did nothing wrong. Courts cleared them of money laundering. They claim they were victims, not perpetrators. But the victims, they're still waiting. 2,468 Nigerians who lost their life savings to 86 FB got nothing when the case was withdrawn. Thousands more affected by security breaches still seeking answers. Ex-employees still fighting legal battles. The bigger question is this: how does a company valued at $3 billion, backed by Visa, Mastercard, and Tiger Global, end up at the center of so many scandals? Was it oversight, negligence, or something darker? Right now, Flutterwave is pushing forward, expanding into new markets, processing billions in transactions, planning for that eventual IPO. But the shadow of these scandals follows them everywhere. In Fintech, trust is everything. And Flutterwave's trust has been shattered across multiple countries. Can they rebuild it? Will the victims ever get justice? And what happens when a unicorn stumbles this badly? Those questions remain unanswered. What we know for certain is this: the Flutterwave scandal exposed the dark side of Africa's tech boom, where rapid growth meets weak oversight, where billions flow through systems not built to handle them, where the victims are left behind while the company moves forward. This story isn't over, not by a long shot. Cases are still pending, victims are still fighting, and the next chapter of Africa's biggest fintech scandal is still being written. The question is, will anyone be held accountable? Or will this become just another cautionary tale in the wild world of African tech? Only time will tell.